Ile barabara imejengwa na pia mwelekeo wa upanuzi wa barabara ili tujue kwamba maendeleo yanaendelea. Basi rais pale amefika tayari, amekagua barabara kisha aweze kufungua bamba la maelezo linalojulikana kama commemorative plaque, ikiwa na maelezo ya barabara ambaye iko hapa, kisha aweze kuonyeshwa vile ujenzi umeendelea na upanuzi utakavyoendelea wa barabara hii. Ngong Road ambayo inaenda kuwa Naivasha Road pale mbele. Rais akija sasa kufungua kwa bamba la maelezo, ikiwa na details za barabara. Haya basi, wapi makofi ya rais Naivasha Road Flyover. Na mji wetu wa Nairobi. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Rais. Kisha aweze kupata maelezo. Akipatiwa maelezo na DG mwenyewe. Karibu sana Mheshimiwa Rais.
Welcome Your Excellency for this project for Junction Flyover. Actually it's complete. The financials are Kenyan government and the government of Spain, costing around 3.8 billion Kenya shillings. We have actually completed the work ahead of schedule. We are supposed to complete by July 2027, but we squeezed ourselves. We have now done it on 19th June 2026 by reducing the contract period by 1 year, because you are targeting the AFCON games so that can be ready. It will have 18 months defect liability period. After now, the contractor will be on the ground maintaining the road. Will be maintaining the road for 18 months. After now, we have added over. So, yeah. These are just July. We understand. So it's taken 2 years. 2 years. Yes, 1 year. Yes. These are some of the benefits you are getting from it, and the employment record. It was highly mechanized work, so we employed around 200 people. Yeah. We are expecting to reduce traffic congestion in Ngong Road by almost 60%. 60%, yes, Your Excellency. These are some of the photos on how it was and how it is before.
Nairobi, maybe we can sit here kidogo. Where are we going to talk to these people from? You are guard,
Basi tungoje kidogo ili Mheshimiwa Rais apate maelezo kidogo kisha tuendelee. Tusubiri tafadhali, tunaomba tafadhali tuwe na subira kidogo. Tuweze kumruhusu Mheshimiwa Rais apate maelezo alafu
katika mambo yote ya Nairobi na pia phase 2 ya mabarabara inakuja kuendelea. So kwetu kama watu wa Nairobi ni kukushukuru. We will continue cooperating together because we are seeing the fruits of that cooperation. Your Excellency, here we have members of parliament ambao watasalimia wananchi kule chini. Where you are is a confluence of 4 constituencies. On the left ni Kibra constituency, hapa juu ni Lang'ata constituency, pandeni Dagoretti South constituency Ngando, na kule chini ni Dagoretti North constituency. So sisi tunakushukuru Your Excellency, na kama watu wa Nairobi tutarudisha mkono. Si kweli? Mnasemaje kwa rais wetu? Mnasemaje kwa rais wetu? Ruto ngapi? Siwasikii. Ruto ngapi? Na Sakaja ngapi? Ngumi ni ngapi? Mungu awabariki, tuazidi kushirikiana. Asante sana Your Excellency. It's my honor to invite you.
Aya. Nairobi hoye! Nairobi hoye! Nairobi hoye! Kanairo mambo! There's no loudspeaker, my friend. Hii ma loudspeaker yenu. Sasa hii loudspeaker inatongeshwa huko. Aya. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Nairobi muko? Nairobi muko? Basi mimi niko na taarifa hapa ya kusoma, lakini baadaye tutaongea kama watu wa Nairobi, sivyo? Let me say the following. Ladies and gentlemen, every great city reaches a moment when its ambition begins to outgrow its infrastructure. Nairobi reached that moment many years ago. For too long, congestion has imposed a heavy cost on our economy and on the daily lives of our people. It has delayed workers on their way to earning a living, increased the cost of doing business, kept traders away from customers, and taken precious time away from families. Congestion is not merely a transport challenge. It is an economic challenge. Every hour lost in traffic is an hour of productivity forfeited, income delayed, and opportunity diminished. That is why we are here today. The Ngong Road, Naivasha Road Flyover is a strategic investment in the efficiency, productivity, and competitiveness of our capital city. This Kenya shillings 3.8 billion project removes one of Nairobi's most persistent traffic bottlenecks by separating traffic, improving safety for motorists, pedestrians, and cyclists alike, and restoring the strong movement of people and the smooth movement of goods along one of city's most transport corridors and busiest corridors. This is what modern infrastructure should do. Reduce travel time, lower the cost of transport, improve road safety, and make cities work better for everyone. I wish to express my very sincere appreciation to our friends, the government and people of Spain, for their partnership in financing this important project. It is a partnership founded on mutual respect and a shared commitment to Kenya's development. Ladies and gentlemen, today's commissioning is not the end of a journey. It is part of a much larger transformation taking place across our city of Nairobi. Just a short distance from here, construction of the Upper Hill Kenyatta Avenue Viaduct, a Kenya shillings 3 billion investment, is now 60% complete around the All Saints Cathedral. Once finished, it will significantly improve access into the central business district and ease congestion across one of the city's busiest commercial zones. Equally, we have commenced the upgrading of State House Road through a 1.6 billion investment that will modernize another strategic transport corridor. At the same time, we are building access roads to Talanta Sports City through a Kenya shillings 3.9 billion investment, ensuring that Kenya is ready to host the Africa Cup of Nations next year with infrastructure that is world-class and reflects our standing and ambition as a city. To the north of the corridor, we are preparing a dualing of 23.5 kilometers Kiambu Road corridor from Muthaiga to Kiambu and its bypasses in a $221 million, Kenya shillings 30 billion investment. This project will unlock faster movement of people and goods while opening Nairobi's northern metropolitan region to greater investment, housing, and commercial development. Together, these projects are systematically removing the transport bottlenecks that have restrained the growth of our capital city for decades. But building more roads alone is no longer enough. 21st century cities must also move intelligently. That is why we are implementing Nairobi's intelligent transport system, one of the most significant investments in smart urban mobility on the continent. The first phase, covering 25 signaled junctions and a modern traffic management center, is valued at $60 million, approximately 7.9 billion Kenya shillings, and is already under construction. The second phase will expand the system to 60 additional junctions through an investment of 13 billion Kenya shillings. The third phase, valued at 24 billion, will extend intelligent traffic management to another 125 junctions. in our city. Upon completion, more than 210 junctions across Nairobi will operate through a coordinated real-time traffic management system that optimizes traffic flows, improves road safety, and significantly reduces travel time around our city. This is how, ladies and gentlemen, modern cities work. Not simply by building more roads, but by making every kilometer of infrastructure work smarter and more efficiently. Our vision extends beyond major highways. Through the Nairobi Urban Regeneration Program, we are undertaking one of the most ambitious urban road improvement programs in our nation's history. Today, 729 kilometers of urban roads are under routine maintenance. We are rehabilitating and upgrading 62 kilometers of road under phase 1 that is almost complete, which is already 85% complete at a cost of 1.9 billion. A further 59 kilometers will be upgraded under phase 2 through an investment of 1.7 billion. Phase 3 will deliver another 45 kilometers of road at an estimate of 2.5 billion. Our objective is straightforward. Every ward in Nairobi should benefit from modern, reliable road infrastructure. Development cannot be reserved for a few neighborhoods, while others are left behind. Every Kenyan deserves safe roads, better access, and equal opportunity. We are equally strengthening Nairobi's resilience through a shillings 2 billion drainage improvement program that will reduce flooding and protect homes, businesses, and critical infrastructure during periods of heavy rainfall. And that program already has been agreed between the city of Nairobi and the government of Kenya to make sure that that happens. Mobility is the foundation upon which modern cities are built. When transport is efficient, businesses become more competitive. Investors gain confidence, and goods reach markets faster. Workers spend more time creating value than sitting in traffic. Families reclaim time that would otherwise be lost on the road. That is why these investments matter. They are not simply investments in roads. They are investments in economic growth, productivity, competitiveness, and a better quality of life in our city. We will continue building infrastructure that support enterprise, attract investments, and prepare Nairobi for the demands of a rapidly growing economy. We are determined to build a capital city that is efficient, that is connected, resilient, and globally competitive. A city worth of Kenya's place as an economic gateway to East Africa. I thank you very much for your attention. Asanteni sana. Nairobi hoye! Nairobi hoye! Mimi nimesoma hii taarifa wapi? Songa pale mbele. Nairobi hoye! Nairobi mambo! Hebu nione kwa mikono wale wananisikia, hebu nione kwa mikono. Basi wewe soja, wachana na wananchi bwana, wakuja hapa karibu. Wewe unawasumbua kwa nini? Hawa wananchi hawana noma bwana. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Nairobi hoye! Sikizeni watu wa Nairobi. Leo tumekuja kufungua hii junction. Si namna hiyo? Nyinyi mnajua watu walikuwa wanahangaika hapa. Msafara ya kwenda Nairobi, kwenda kazini, kwenda kufanya biashara ilikuwa inachukua muda mrefu sana. Jam ilikuwa inaleta noma sana hapa. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Si jam ilikuwa inaleta kisirani hapa? Hii junction hii tumejenga Julai 2024. Yani miaka miwili iliyopita. Julai 2024 ndio tumeanza hii mjengo. Na leo tumeimaliza, inaanza kutumika kuanzia leo. Nyinyi mnanielewa? Sikizeni watu wa Nairobi. Hii kitu ilikuwa imepangiwa. Ukiona pale, hii mjenzi ilikuwa imepangiwa atiendelee kwa miaka mitatu. Nyinyi mnanielewa? Mimi nikawaambia contractor, haya kubali hii loudspeaker isonge huko ndio wananchi wasikize maneno. Nairobi hoye! Haya kubali hii gari isonge nyuma, isonge nyuma. Na hiyo gari ingine wewe songesha gari hapa, wananchi wasikie tunasema nini. Wewe unapark gari huko. Wewe ni mtu bure sana. Ama ni aje bwana? Isonge. Si mnataka kusikia tunasema nini? Si Nairobi ni yenu? Si mnataka tupange Nairobi? Na mnataka Nairobi ipangike? Mimi niliwaahidi watu wa Nairobi. Sawa sawa. Hapa Nairobi ndio capital city ya Kenya. Sura ya Nairobi ndio sura ya Kenya. Nairobi kama kumeharibika, Kenya kumeharibika. Nairobi kama kuna uchafu, Kenya haiwezi kuendelea. Nairobi kama itembei, kama iko na jam, Kenya iko na jam. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Na niliwaambia hii Nairobi ilisahaulika miaka nyingi. Na mimi niliwaeleza hii Nairobi tutaipangia vizuri. Nimewaeleza hii mjengo hii ya barabara hii ilikuwa imepangiwa kumalizika mwaka ujao Julai. Mimi nikakuja hapa mara 3 nikamwambia huyu contractor, hakuna vile tunaweza kungojea miaka mitatu hii mahali jam isumbue wananchi. Hii kitu tumemaliza 1 year ahead of time. Na ndio mimi nataka niwaambie wale, kuna majamaa hapo wananisumbua. Ati William Ruto anafanya kazi sana. Ati huyu mtu anapumzika saa ngapi? Ati huyu mtu anatembea kila mahali. Nataka mimi niwaambie wale majamaa, wachaneni na mimi nifanye kazi ya wananchi. Mimi nimewaambia mimi si mfalme, mimi ni mfanyikazi ya wananchi wa Kenya. Na mimi nitafanya kazi 24 hours. Ama namna gani? Kwani nikifanya kazi 24 hours, time ni yao, nguvu ni yao, akili ni yao. Wawachane na mimi bwana. Ama namna gani? Mimi nataka niwaambie wale majamaa, nyinyi wachaneni na mimi nifanye kazi ya wananchi. Mimi niliwaambia wa Kenya ya kwamba tutabadilisha hii nchi yetu. Na hatuwezi kubadilisha nchi kwa kuzembea. Hatuwezi kubadilisha nchi kwa kufanya kazi polepole. Mimi nataka niwaeleze, and I want to challenge those who are telling me that I am wasting time inspecting projects. This project here was supposed to be complete next year July. But by God's grace, working with the contractors here, I have come here several times to make sure this project is hastened. Today, we are launching this project 1 year ahead of time, to mean that what we can do for 10 years, we can do in 5 years. Tuendelee ama tuendelee bwana? Mnasema tuendelee ama tuendelee? Mbali na hii project, mimi nataka niwaambie watu wa Nairobi, mumeona pale On Saints Cathedral. Si mnaona pale pia tunajenga viaduct. Hiyo viaduct ilikuwa imechelewa miaka. Mimi nataka niwaambie kabla ya Disemba, mimi nitaenda kufungua hiyo viaduct. Watu ambao wanaenda CBD watawacha kusumbuliwa na jam, kwa sababu tunataka Nairobi itembee. Tuendelee ama tuendelee? Hapa Talanta, nyinyi mnajua kuna barabara ambayo tumeanza ya kuunganisha Ngong Road na ile Southern Bypass. Ndio watu wasihangaike wakati watakuja kuendelea na michezo hapa Talanta. Hiyo pesa tumeweka bilioni 3 ya kujenga hiyo barabara, na contractor tayari yuko pale, nataka kuitengeneza. Vile vile tuko na project nyingine ya kuunganisha Bomas of Kenya na hii Talanta. Tuhakikisha kwamba Nairobi inatembea. Ni kweli ama si kweli bwana? Tubadilishe Nairobi ama tusibadilishe? Nimewatangazia tuko na barabara nyingi hapa Nairobi bado ni ya matope. Tuko na barabara nyingi hapa Nairobi zimeharibika. Na ndio mimi nimetoa pesa ya serikali kusema ili tubadilishe sura ya Nairobi, lazima hii Nairobi ioneshane sura ya taifa letu la Kenya. Wageni wakikuja Kenya wanakuja Nairobi. Ile sura wanabeba ya Nairobi ndio watafikiria kwamba ndio sura ya Kenya. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Sababu hiyo nimefanya kazi na hao wabunge wenu, nimefanya kazi na huyu gavana wetu, na tumekubaliana ya kwamba kilomita 70 mpya ya Nairobi katika kila sehemu tunamaliza, iko 85%. Kuna kilomita ingine 60 ambayo tumepatiana procurement, macontractor wanaendelea. Kuna kilomita ingine 70 mimi natangaza kandarasi yake wiki hii. Tuhakikishe ya kwamba kilomita 220 Nairobi, katika kila kitongoji, katika kila ward, na MCAs wetu wako hapa. Hawa MCAs wamenipatia barabara zao, ndio tuhakikishe kila ward ya Nairobi tunawatengenezea barabara. Hakuna ward ambaye tutawacha nyuma. Tunataka tutembee tukiwa pamoja. Nairobi hoye! Tuendelee ama tuendelee? Mnasema tuendelee ama tuendelee? Mimi nataka niwaeleze vile vile watu wa Nairobi. Kuna miji hapa Nairobi, kuna sehemu za Nairobi bado zinaishi kwa giza. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Kuna miji ama sehemu 9 hapa Nairobi ambazo ziko katika ndani ya giza. Stima yao ilikatwa. Mimi nataka niwatangazie, kwa hii budget nimezaini juzi, hiyo budget tumeweka hapo bilioni 2 ya kuhakikisha wale watu wanaishi Kosovo, wale watu wanaishi katika Kiambiu, wale watu wanaishi pale hospital ward, wale watu wanaishi kule Mathare ambao hawana stima, tuwawekee stima waishi kama watu wengine wa Nairobi County. Nairobi hoye! Nyinyi mnanielewa jameni? Mnasema tuendelee? Mnasema tuendelee na hiyo kazi? Tuendelee ama tuendelee? Sikizeni watu wa Nairobi. Hii Nairobi ilikuwa inasumbuliwa na slums. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Wananchi wengi wa Nairobi wanakuwa wanaishi mahali hakuna stima, hakuna maji, hakuna usafi, hakuna barabara, hakuna maneno hiyo yote. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Mimi nimesema kama wewe unalipa shilingi 2,000 kuwa na nyumba, wewe utaendelea kulipa 2,000 na mimi nitakujengea nyumba ya gorofa. Wewe uishi pale, usonge mbele kama mwananchi wengine. Nairobi hoye! Kuna watu wengine, watu ambao hawana akili, wanasema ya kwamba wanataka wananchi wa Nairobi waendelee kukaa kwa slums, waendelee kukaa mahali hakuna stima, hakuna choo, hakuna maji, hakuna barabara. Wale watu ni mafala ama si mafala? Wale watu ni mafala ama si mafala? Ati wanasema watakuja kusimamisha housing. Wale watu ni wazembe sana bwana. Wale watu ni mafala sana wale. Bure kabisa. Sijui kama tunaelewana watu wa Nairobi. Nairobi hoye! Sikizeni watu wa Nairobi. Hii Nairobi City. Ile manyumba tunajenga Nairobi City saa hizi zinaendelea. ni nyumba 75,000 ya watu wa Nairobi. Tuko na nyumba zingine 50,000 tumeipangia. Budget tumeweka ya Nairobi County ni zaidi ya bilioni 170 kubadilisha city ya Nairobi. Residents wa city wa Nairobi watakuwa wanaishi mahali kuna heshima, kuna maji, kuna stima na kuna usafi, kwa sababu sura ya Nairobi ndio sura ya Kenya. Hapa Nairobi tunajenga soko 17 mpya inaendelea. Hapa Nairobi tunajenga hostels ya vijana wetu, universities zote, KMTC zote. Vijana 6,000 wa Nairobi, wale vijana wanasoma hapa Nairobi, tunawajengea hostels, kwa sababu tunataka vijana waishi mahali pazuri, wasome vizuri, wakuje watusaidie kusukuma Kenya yetu mbele. Mimi nawauliza watu wa Nairobi, mimi niliwaambia watu wa Nairobi tutawajengea masoko. Saa hizi pale Kigomba tunaendelea kujenga soko. Kuna watu wengine walienda kuambia watu wa Kigomba ati tusijenge soko. Na soko ni mahali ambapo inafanya biashara ya wananchi. Na wale walienda kuambia watu wa Kigomba ati tusijenge soko ni watu hawafanyi biashara Kigomba, hawanunui Kigomba. Ni watu wananunua hapa Karen, watu wananunua kule kwa The Hub, watu wanaenda kule sijui Sarit Center. Alafu unaenda kumwambia mwananchi anakaa Kikomba ati tusimjengee soko. Kwani unawabeba wananchi ufala kiasi gani? Wale watu ni bure sana bwana. Sio kama tunaelewana? Nairobi hoye! Nijenge Kikombani sijenge bwana. Na mimi nataka niwaambie, imebaki miezi 4, mimi naenda kufungua soko ya Kikomba, iko tayari. The first one. Hiyo ni phase 1 na nitabadilisha hiyo dunia yote mpaka hii Kenya ibadilike. Na ndio mimi nawauliza ndugu zangu, watu wa Nairobi, watu wa Kanairo, na wauliza kwa unyenyekevu, musikubali watu ambao hawana agenda, hawana mpango, hawana maono, ati kazi yao ni matusi, ati kazi yao ni ukabila, ati kazi yao ni chuki, ati kazi yao ni vipindi, ati kazi yao ni fitina. Watuletee fitina taifa letu la Kenya. Watu wa Nairobi tunaelewana jameni? Nairobi si ni ya Wakenya wote? Ni yetu sisi zote ama si yetu sisi zote? Hapa Nairobi ndio Kenya. Na ndio mimi nataka mniwaulize kwa unyenyekevu, musikubali watu ambao wanataka kutugawanya kwa misingi ya kabila. Tunataka tuungane, tushirikiane, tujenge Nairobi tukiwa pamoja. Ni kweli ama si kweli my friends? Mnasema tuungane ama tutengane Nairobi? Tuungane ama tutengane? Wale wanasema tuungane Nairobi hii nione kwa mkono, wala wanasema tuungane. Si ndio? Tuendelee namna hiyo. Mimi nawauliza Nairobi, nijenge hizi barabara, niunganishe stima, tujenge Talanta, tujenge Bomas, tupange mambo ya kilimo. Tupange mambo ya kazi, tufanye Nairobi River Regeneration, tufanye hiyo kazi yote. SHA iendelee kuwatibu na tupange dunia isonge mbele. Hebu nione wana anasema tupangane pamoja. Mimi nawauliza watu wa Nairobi. Nyinyi watu wa Nairobi, si nyinyi ndio mnaamua viongozi Kenya hii? Si nyinyi wananchi ndio mnaamua viongozi Kenya hii? Si mnaamua hatima ya MCA? Si mnaamua ya mbunge? Ya gavana si mnaamua? Ya rais nyinyi ndio mtaamua? Mimi nawauliza, saa ile mnaamua kiongozi, mnaamua kwa sababu ya sura yake ama kazi amefanya? Ni kazi ya masura? Ni kazi ya makabila? Ni kazi ya mafitina? Ni kazi ya matusi? Si ni kazi ya mtu ndio itamuokoa? Si kila mtu aseme kazi yake amefanya? Ni kweli ama si kweli? Si mimi niko hapa, si kuna kazi mimi nimefanya? Si watoto wetu nimewasomesha? Walimu 1,100 nimeandika? Si nimepanga mambo ya barabara? Si nimepanga mambo ya stima? Si nimepanga mambo ya housing? Si nimepanga mambo ya market? Si kila mtu akuje na kazi yake bwana, ama namna gani? Na wale wa matusi na fitina pia watafutiwe ratili ya kupima fitina na matusi, tuone itakuwa kilo ngapi. Sio kama tunaelewana my friends? Nairobi hoye! Nairobi hoye! Sikizeni my friend, nimalizie. Wacha nimalizie. Si ndio? Mimi nawauliza kwa unyenyekevu. Sawa sawa. Wale majamaa walijaribu kutuletea fujo Nairobi juzi. Mimi nawashukuru watu wa Nairobi. Nawashukuru vijana wa Nairobi. Nawashukuru wafanyabiashara wa Nairobi. Mulikataa fujo Nairobi hii. Mukakataa maandamano ya kuharibu mali ya wananchi Nairobi hii. Mukakataa fitina ya fujo ambayo inaharibu biashara Nairobi hii. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Nikasikia jamaa mwingine anasema ati kwa sababu watu hawakwenda kazini ati maandamano imefaulu. Na mjamaa amezunguka Kenya hii miaka 50, ametangatanga, hakuna kazi amefanya. Sasa anataka ati Wakenya hawa wote wakose nafasi ya kufanya kazi. Wewe my friend, vile umekosa kazi ya kufanya for 60 years ama 50 years, wachana na Wakenya waende kazini. Kila mtu anataka kuendesha asoli yake, tubadilishe uchumi, tusongeshe Kenya mbele. Mwisho, Nairobi. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Si nyinyi ndio mtaamua next year? Si mtaamua next year? Si mtaamua rais next year? Si mtaamua governor next year? Muko tayari ama muko tayari? Muko tayari ama muko tayari? Sikizeni bwana. Wale majamaa wanajaribu kushindana na mimi. Si mnawajua? Wale majamaa mnawajua? Maono hawana. Agenda hawana. Sera hawana. Mpango hawana. Sera hawana. Hata akili. Kumbe mnawajua? Wale majamaa mnawajua? Ati maono, ati agenda, ati mpango, ati sera, ati kazi, hata akili. Salala. Wale watu ni mafala wa mwisho. Nairobi hoye! Kwa hivyo nyinyi watu wa Nairobi mnasemaje? Ati Nairobi mnasemaje? Ati Nairobi mnasemaje? Ati Nairobi mnasemaje? Hebu nione tutam ya watu wa Nairobi, nione tutam ya. Hii kitu ni mbaya bwana. Hii ni mbaya. Hii ni mbaya. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Wacha nimuite gavana wetu atusalimie. Salima hapo kama.
Haya. Nairobi oye. Tusalimiane kwa hewa, tusalimiane kwa hewa kama unanisikia. Wapi mbwekse ya rais? Wapi mbwekse ya rais? Si tunashukuru rais vile ametushikilia. Your Excellency, kama gavana wa Nairobi, hao wananchi mimi nawapenda sana. Si mnajua nawapenda? Na walombo tofu sana. Na mimi nakuanga na hao. Na walishia watoto wao kila siku kwa shule na shilingi 5. Si ni kweli? Si tunakushukuru rais, leo umesign pesa ya kwenda kwa counties. Lakini hata kwa hiyo pesa Nairobi ikipata 20, hii mpangilio yetu ya cooperation inanipatia bilioni 80 ya mabarabara, ya mataa. Siku hizi kwa hospitali zetu kuna madawa kila siku. Si ni kweli? Mnaambia rais aje? Mnaambia rais aje? Na Sakaja mnaambia aje? Ya Sakaja iko wapi? Mimi leo sitasema mambo mingi. Your Excellency, thank you for this road. Na pia zile mingi ambazo tunafanya pamoja. Last week umenipatia bilioni nyingine 2 ya kutengeneza drainage ili ikinyesha watu wasipate shida. This was the formula that Nairobi needed. Cooperation between Nairobi and the national government. Na hiyo cooperation imechukua 14 years, we are late. Hiyo ndio itatusaidia tusonge mbele. Wangapi wanashukuru rais kwa kushirikiana na mimi? Tuendelee ama tusiendelee? Tushirikiane ama tuachane? Si rais aendelee kushikia Nairobi? Na nyinyi mtarudisha mkono kwa rais? Ya mwisho, Nairobi hii jirani yako ndio ndugu yako. Hakuna shida ya Mkikuyu tofauti na ya Mjaluo na ya Mkamba na ya Muluya. Wale wanaleta siasa ya ukabila tuambia waende wapi? Waende wapi? Kanayo kabila ni 2, tajiri na maskini. Na sisi ni mahasla. Tunachungana. Nikileta chakula kwa shule naleteanga tu Waluya ama Wakikuyu. Nikileta maji naletea Wakamba peke yao. Si ni watu wote wa Nairobi? Hiyo siasa ya ukabila mtakubali Nairobi? Hawa watu wakwende bwana. Wakwende warudi ushago huko. Nairobi hakuna hiyo maneno hapa. Si ndio hiyo? So tuko na wabunge hapa. Mnajua hapa tuko na Dago, tuko na Lang'ata. Wacha Mlozi atuitie wabunge wetu. Asanteni sana.
Nairobi, mimi nawauliza, si tumekubaliana ya kwamba county ya Nairobi ifanye kazi na national government? Si tumekubaliana? Tufanye kazi, tuondoe takataka, tuwakishe mataa. Mimi nataka niwaulize, munipatie tu nafasi kidogo na huyu gavana wenu. Kufikia Disemba mwaka huu, hii mataa yote ambayo imezimika na zile zingine, kila kijiji tutaweka mataa ya kutosha. Hii Nairobi iwe 24-hour economy. Nyie mnanielewa? Na vile vile ile tatizo ya takataka, hiyo takataka bado mimi ninashughulikia na huyu gavana wenu. Tunataka kusafisha hii Nairobi, takataka yote tumalizane nayo. Na vile vile nyinyi mnajua tunangojea mambo ya El Nino. Na kwa El Nino hii Nairobi itakuwa na mafuriko. Mimi nimetoa pesa ya serikali shilingi bilioni 2. Wiki hii tutaanza sasa kushughulikia mambo ya drainage. Na tumekubaliana na city ya Nairobi na gavana wenu vile tutashirikiana, engineers wa serikali ya kitaifa na engineers wa county, tutafanya kazi pamoja ndio wananchi tena wa Nairobi wasiangaishwe na mafuriko. Nairobi iweze kutembea hata kama saa ile inanyesha. Tuko na hii mto yetu. Hii Nairobi si tulikubaliana hii mto kuanzia hapa juu mpaka kule Ruai. Hiyo mto tumekubaliana tarehe 15 Januari tutakuwa tumemaliza hiyo kazi, kusukuma hiyo kazi. Halafu tukimalizana na hiyo tunaenda kusafisha hii ya Ngong Road. Ipitie pale Nairobi Dam, tusafishe Nairobi ikae chonjo. Tuko na wabunge wengi. Tuko na huyu seneta wetu wa Nairobi kwa mapenzi ya Mungu, Bwana Jalango.
Kanairo, asante sana rais kwa hii barabara. Na ndio hii barabara tutoe jam mingi, lazima pia sasa tupanue Naivasha Road. Naivasha Road kutoka hapa paka Udhiru itasaidia. Kisha tutoe pale Karen tuende paka Ngong, hapo pia barabara ni mbaya. Na hapa Nairobi, watu wa Nairobi wameshaamua. Hatutaki ukabila hapa, ni kutembea pamoja. Na mpango mzima ni tutam. Na rais, hao watu wako wamekumisi sana. Uliwaambia wanafaa kukutembelea ile phase 2 ya empowerment. Usisahau rais. Nataka upange turudi tukutembelee huko na mama zetu, ma-MCAs wetu na vijana wetu wote, uwapange kwa mboka. Si ndio? Si ndio? Joey! Asante sana rais.
Nairobi, nionyesheni za rais. Asanteni. Mheshimiwa Rais, karibu Dagoretti, karibu nchi yako ya Nairobi. Tunashukuru kwa kazi ile ambayo unafanya hapa Nairobi. Leo unafungua barabara. Juzi umetupea pesa ya kujenga hii mama wa huu. Tena umejenga reli ambayo inaenda mpaka kule Ngong. Umezidisha Mheshimiwa Rais. Tukaanzisha shule ya Lenana, wewe umekuja umeikamilisha. Mheshimiwa Rais, hii ni stadium yetu tunaiona hapa. Tunasubiri kabla ya mwisho wa mwaka tuone imefunguliwa. Mheshimiwa Rais, tunakuambia Nairobi hii utachaguliwa kwa sababu ya kazi na maendeleo ambayo unaifanya. Tukisema tutam yako, sisi tumekushikilia kwa kiwanja. Umetufungulia mama wa huu hapa tukiona. Tukakubaliana na wewe Mheshimiwa Rais kwamba hiyo barabara iende ifungue mpaka kule Mtego. Umetufanyia hiyo kazi. Hivi leo Mheshimiwa Rais, tunakueleza hii barabara ya Naivasha Road ndio imesalia. Utufungulie Naivasha Road, ishikane na Ngong Road, iende mpaka kule juu mpaka kabisa Udhero tuweze kuipata. Wananchi wa Dagoretti, hapa ndio kianzilishi cha maneno. Rais, leo unafungua barabara, hapa ndio mambo ya Nairobi ilianzia. Airport ya kwanza ilikuwa ni hapa Karandini, hapa Dagoretti Kona. Na leo kwa mawasiliano umetuletea barabara ya kufana zaidi. Sisi tutakuzidi kukusaidia na kukushikilia, na Nairobi yote tunasema ya rais ni ngapi? Nionyesheni, wekelea mawe. Wapi top shot ya rais? Weka top shot vijana, weka top shot. Asante sana. Tuko hapa na jirani mwema. Wapi kelele ya mama Elachi? Aya, wana Dagoretti, tusalamiane kwa hewa. Muko sawa na muko gangari? Tuko mbele, hatuko mbele? Tuko na Mheshimiwa Rais, nipatie tutam yake huko. Na kuona Sisi leo Mheshimiwa Rais, tunataka kukuambia asante sana. Sisi leo tumepata hata kandarasi wa Salem Road, na tunaambia kura angusha huyo kandarasi aingie. Tunataka kumuona kuanzia kesho akifanya kazi ya Mheshimiwa Rais. Mheshimiwa Rais, wewe Mungu amekupa maono, na sisi tukiwa Kanairo tutachora hii Kanairo. Hii Kanairo ni yako. Umeishika. Wanatingika, wanashangaa hii Kanairo vipi? Kanairo ni tutam. Tuko hapa wana Kanairo. Tuko ndani ya tutam. Mbarikiwe sana.
kuongea. Niko na Raymond Omolo hapa, mpigeni makofi. Niko na PS wangu Bwana Mbogwa wa barabara, mpigeni makofi. Niko na MCS wetu jameni, niko na MCS wetu. Niko na Nixo hapa wa kutoka kule Kamukunji. Niko na Oscar hapa Ringo kutoka kule Madhare. Niko na Kolo. Niko na ndugu yangu chairman komanda mwenyewe Lawi, huyu komanda Lawi yuko area, na niko na MCS wengine wengi hapa. Niko na Robert Alai ako area. Niko na huyu mungwana Clarence yuko hapa, mpigeni makofi, ni wa area. Kennedy Swaka MCA wetu wa hapa. Niko na mbunge wa kutoka Meru Bwana Aburi, na niko na wageni wengine wengi. So Nairobi tumekubaliana jameni? Tumekubaliana? Mimi nataka niwaeleze vile tumemaliza hii. Wacha niende nitafute pesa pa sasa ya kufanya dualing. Hii barabara ya kwenda Naivasha Road iende mpaka kule, wacha niende nitafute pesa. Na nitafute pesa ya kufanya dualing kutoka hapa Junction mpaka James Kishuru mpaka ishikane na kule kwingine. Ndio hii Nairobi itembee ikae chonjo. Nairobi hoye! Tumekubaliana Nairobi. Hebu nione wala wanasema tumekubaliana. Asanteni sana. Mungu awabariki. Mimi nawapenda sana na nawatakia baraka ya Mungu jameni. Thank you very much and God bless you. Asante.
The norm in this nation is that the moment you might never be seen again, and that has happened previously. But Your Honor, the court having been convinced on Friday that the accused then it means the court stipulates that bail should be applied in a manner not punishing, Your Honor, before trial. Until the contrary is proved. Sub-Article 2, Paragraph A. Your Honor, issuing renders this right a nugatory, and it is infringing on the rights and that amount to miscarriage of justice. Haron Ismail, Justice Wasami said that the best attendance of the accused person Your Honor, no nature the trial level. Cyril Kipto Serem in 2020, EKLR, before your brother Justice Muredi, he said that the grant of bail is not a backdoor denial . Two, and in mockery of Article 49(1). Your Honor, the most recent one that I handled personally, take a high court in miscellaneous application. Yeah. And 41 with prosecution that the powerful or the politically convinced precisely when the winds of executive hardest against them. Today, Your Honor, this court is not trying the charges at the fence with there until the last person got out of parliament. Within the precincts of parliament. Not trying these charges. These allegations will await trial. Itself, the Constitution, Your Honor, serve moments of political as served, or will it become a fair promise? Honor, remember we said that even granting a higher bail for innocence, it is not a medal for innocence. It is recognition of and therefore, Your Honor, becomes the default in case a higher bail is then acquittal years later, Your Honor, becomes nothing more than on facts, not fear. The Constitution that we serve deliberately to imprison first and prove later is to invert the constitutional order. At the gates of a police station, accompanies him everywhere. Your Honor, and it tests who defended constitutional principles. When doing so, Your Honor, was an when the executive is trying to be loud, for conviction. The presumption of innocence is tested and, Your Honor, the strength of this constitution that we serve under Article 49(1)(h) of the rights of the accused person. Your Honor, may it also guide you. Article Your Honor, Article 159 of the Constitution. May you be
If granted bail, the accused will attend for any bail or bond consideration. In this case, that there is no argument that the accused person is a flight risk or will not attend. Will fail to attend court, released on bond. The only thing the prosecution is asking the court including capital offences. We have seen superior courts release accused. Note that the accused person has been charged with the circumstances of the university.
on personal bond. Sasa tuanze tupige haraka haraka kidogo. So thank you members of the press. I want to take this opportunity to thank the courts for the wise ruling that has been delivered today concerning Mr. Speaker Sir Ezekiel Chama. He has been released on personal bond terms, meaning that he's free to go home without paying anything, and finally the devil has been ashamed. And I want to warn the DCI officers that when you are not ready to present somebody to court, do not come here and express your ignorance, because all these charges that you pressed against our client, they don't make sense at all. I was in Parliament that day when the alleged offense occurred. The only challenge, the only problem that these Gen Zs committed is that they wanted the high cost of living be reduced. They wanted jobs. They didn't want the finance bill to be passed. And they had a right to do so. Parliament is a public place. One of the charges that is being pressed against our client is that he accessed the precincts of Parliament in contravention of Section 31(1) of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act. This is nonsensical. This is gibberish. Parliament is a public place built by public resources, funds, money from the taxpayers, and any citizen, even now, if any citizen wants to go and have lunch in Parliament, you are free to go and have lunch. So do not tell us that people cannot access public places that they built using their own money. So it is completely uncalled for. The DCI usitutest tena, sisi ni wale wabaya. Angalia hizi masura vizuri na tukiwapata kotini, we will deal with you, because in the court precincts wewe ni raia kama mtu yeyote. Na hii kitu, I repeat it once again, citizens should know, should never fear the police officers, the DCI officers. Hapa kotini hao ni maraia, wakikuja hapo they become our meals, and we ruminate on them ruthlessly. So today Mr. Kiama amewachiliwa bure. Kwa mawakili wetu, asanteni sana. Mungu awabariki. Wakili Pius Oyo, Mungu akubariki sana. Wakili mrembo wetu mmoja peke yake, Wanjira, you are dispensing knowledge carelessly. Mungu akubariki sana. Nurdin Kagai, Mungu akubariki sana. Wakili Evans Ayata, Mungu akubariki sana. Tuko hapa na sheikh yetu mmoja ambaye before tuanze kotini lazima tuombeange. Sheikh pia Mungu akubariki, umefanya vizuri sana. Nitapatia mawakili dakika moja kisha sheikh amalizie, alafu tunishake pia na kuona hapa Sheikh Evan Sanza.
Yeah. Thank you Council Paul.
Okay, kuja.
Yeah, thank you, Council Paul, for those remarks. I think mine is just to appreciate the court for taking advantage of the situation of power we have, just to ensure that this young man was really good with a charge sheet that is neither here nor there, was released. So we really want to appreciate the court for that, and we look forward to the
Yeah. What I want to say is that today's ruling is a reflection of what? That there's still a big job that is behind for the team, that the executive Yama is and the court did a good job of recognizing that the and there is no need to hound an innocent citizen, which is what the DCI is this is a good example, and one example in a pile of many examples of using and misusing the power that has been given to hound citizens. And that is why as advocacy exists, to ensure that will not happen. And therefore we look forward to walking this journey with and at best ensure that the DCI will.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the press. I think today we have seen that being an active citizen is something this government opposes. Just because you stand for something that is right and nationalism, this is to all Kenyans. Feel free to go about your duties, protect the constitution, since most of those who were elected have forgotten their duties. What we have today was a persecution. but at the end of the day, and doing the right time to tackle it. But what is funny is that we have a government that is key on compensation. A compensation that you still have done. A compensation that you still arrest arbitrarily the young men who are looking for the right. So what do you actually want to tell us? Are you compensating for justice? Is it a purity? Because at the end of the day, no matter how many times you arrest this young man with frivolous allegations, you will end up with just like your man.
Council, please.
Good afternoon, members of the state. So mine is to thank the court for delivering justice for Kiama. If you look at one of the charges that he, I think, maliciously damaged property worth 41 million. If you look at Kiama, he's a very small-bodied guy. If you look at a property worth 41 million being damaged by Kiama, it does not make sense. So as much as the DCI investigates, the DPP is also called upon to weigh on the charges that they bring to court. We know that Article 157 of the Constitution gives them the mandate to charge or not to charge, but they have to exercise that mandate in regard to the public interest and also in regard to the law. But what we see here are frivolous charges that are meted against innocent Kenyans, young people who are trying to make their nation better. So we'll be here on the 14th of July. It will just be for pre-trial conference where we will be exchanging documents. We will see what they have, and we will be ready to defend the accused, that is Mr. Kiama. With all our might and with all the brilliance that God has given us. Thank you and have a good
Sheikh Maliza.
Asante sana. My name is Sheikh Muhammad Khan. Babu is a guy who does work. He does not make noise. Nafikiri unaona kazi yake. Kila pale kuna shida, huyu mtu amesimama na watu. Kama ni CDF anagawa bila kupiga makelele. Watu wengine hao ni social media, blogging, huyu ni mtu wa kazi. Kwa hivyo nataka kuambia kwamba the reason why we love this man, kwanza kabisa ni msomi, ya pili he has not forgotten his roots. Nilitembea kwake Nyalendo. Niliona huyu mtu hajasahau watu wake, akikuona na shida anafika. So this is the guy who's going to make Nairobi Singapore. Si huyu mtu ambaye anabebana na gunia uongo, ni huyu. Kwa hivyo kama hauna kura hapa Nairobi, unajua according to the law, if you have got business interests in Nairobi, you can still vote in Nairobi. Kwa hivyo kama wewe unavotia huko Ushago, rudisha kura hapa. Upitishe mtu na 100%. Asanteni.
Regarding the statement that he was forcefully forced to write before he was arraigned to court, can you give us a summary of the same and also the force?
The court has pronounced itself on the matter statement that was written forcefully written by Kiama, by Mr. Speaker, sir. And the court has directed clearly. The court has directed clearly that that a new statement be taken, but we will say that our client has a right not to self-incriminate. That was a case in the United Kingdom of Wilmington versus the Republic, that you cannot incriminate yourself. So hiyo mambo I think imeishia hivyo. There's a very important issue that I want to talk about. Hii mambo ya Abdul Aziz from Kiamaiko. Abdul Aziz was abducted by the DCI officers close to around between 7 to 10 days ago. This gentleman was taken by DCI officers. Up to date, hajawahi tolewa. Today we filed a habeas corpus application, meaning that the DCI officers, the Inspector General of Police, we want him here in court to come and answer where this gentleman is, whether dead or alive. If he is dead, if he is dead, we want that body. That is, that body belongs to the family. If he is alive, we also want him alive because he is of his family. The brothers are here, the family members are here. Amwezi shika watu, and then you send bloggers, you say that Zizu was a criminal. Huyo ni criminal ya wananchi. Kama ni criminal ya wananchi. Na kama ni criminal, there is a court process that should be followed. make sure Abdulaziz is presented before a competent court of law, ama apelekwe nyumbani. The mother is waiting. Inspector General of Police Bwana Kanja, wacheni maupuzi mingi. Tunataka Zizu urgently. Kama hakuna Zizu, hakuna amani. Hiyo iendelee hivyo. Sawa sawa. So nimesha file application. Tumengoja orders zikishaletwa, Inspector General of Police aletwe hapa ajibu hiyo maswali haraka haraka. Sio itakuwa ni sawa? Nimetumia orders. Umepata? Nani Sheikh ako wapi? Sheikh, umepata hizo orders? Angalia simu yako, nimetumia orders za Zizu. Nimekutumia. Nimekutumia. So asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki. Sawa sawa? Haya. Asante.
Thank you very much, Judge. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you can hear me well.
We can hear you, my lord.
Thank you. We are going to do a hybrid so that we utilize the tools we have, including technology for swift delivery of justice. The matter before us today was for highlighting of some issues which was agreed upon by all the parties. And after a wide consultation and consensus building among us, ourselves, and the parties, and we realized the urgency of the matter, hence today's date. So I hope everybody is ready so that we can continue with the highlighting and complete the matter with the speed that is required of us as ministers of justice. So I will call upon Senior Kalonzo to introduce his team.
Thank you, my lord, my ladies. I appear together with my colleague Eugene Wamalwa, Council Soyinka Lempa. We are so happy he's not appearing virtually. He has always had some difficulty, but he's here physically today. Councilor Wajiru is also on record, but he's traveling between Nairobi and Kilifi. Should he catch up? He's also on record, my lord, my ladies, and Councilor Stephen Zaku.
Yes, my ladies and my lordship, I'm present.
That's all.
Okay. John Ohaga.
Good afternoon, my lord.
Oh, no, there's Professor Ogola. Sorry for that. Professor Ogola.
I haven't seen him this afternoon, my lord.
Okay. So Professor Ogola, we mark him absent, eh?
There were two other petitioners.
So Professor Ogola absent. The other two petitioners? Karanja is present. Okay, Kahara Masharia. Fourth petitioner present. Yes, the other petitioner. The other petitioner is absent. All right. Now we go to John Ohaga. and your team. Please introduce him.
Good afternoon, my lord. Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, your leaderships. I appear together with Mr. Christopher Marwa and with Ms. Leila Ahmed.
President Ruto.
Miss?
Ms. Leila Ahmed.
Okay.
For the first, second, third, I beg your pardon, first, second, fourth.
Not third, eh?
Not third, not third. First, second, fourth.
Yes, fourth.
Fifth.
Fifth.
Ninth.
Ninth.
10th.
10th.
And 11th respondents.
And 11th respondents.
Mr. Innocent Muganda.
Yes.
Is on record for the third respondent.
With Ms. Kumu, my lord.
Together with Ms. Kumu.
All right. For third respondent.
Mr. Andrew Musangi.
Musangi for.
And Ms. Rachel Nderu. Appear for the sixth respondent.
Sixth respondent.
Mrs. Aisha Abdallah.
Aisha Abdallah.
Appears for the seventh respondent.
My lord, together with Ms. Amayo.
Together with Ms.
Mayo.
Georgina Amayo. Together with Ms. Georgina Amayo.
Okay, Ms. Amayo. And Ms. Aisha, they are for 7 respondents.
That's right, my lord.
Yes.
And Mr. Kevin McCourt, Senior Counsel.
Yes.
Appears for the eighth respondent.
To the court, physically. Okay. Present. Yes. Any other representation?
I covered all the parties. I think I've covered all the parties appearing.
All right.
No, my lord, there's still the 12 respondents.
Mr.
My lord, yes, Mr. Ismail. Mr. Ismail is present for the 12th respondent.
Ismail for 12 respondents.
My lord, we are on our way to court physically.
Yeah, no problem. So Ismail for 12 respondent present. I have nothing.
Thank you very much, my lord. That's
Okay.
the appearances for the respondents.
Okay. All right. Today was for highlighting of some issues. Senior Kalonzo, are you ready on your part?
Yes, my lord, we are ready.
John and your colleagues?
I beg your pardon, my lord.
I'm saying John and your colleagues, are you also ready for highlighting?
Yes, yes, we are ready, my lord. We are ready.
Thank you.
So, Senior Kalonzo, how much time do you think you require to complete your submissions?
30 minutes, my lord.
30 minutes.
We propose to proceed in the following manner, my lord, my ladies. I will make some opening remarks, and I will leave Council Lempa to do the detailed presentation or highlighting.
Okay.
As so at some stage, my lord, my ladies, I will quietly exit. It should not be seen as a mark of disrespect to this court.
All right.
And so we are ready to proceed, my lord.
Okay, that's quite in order.
So,
yes, you can continue.
Thank you. Thank you.
Proceed, Senior Counsel.
Thank you. My lord, my lady. Following your ruling which granted the petitioners conservatory orders,
yes,
our colleagues appearing for the state and the other respondents proceeded to the Court of Appeal.
yes,
and as we meet this afternoon, we understand that those conservatory orders were set aside. So, my lord, my ladies, you will recall our argument that time that we would not want this matter to be reduced to an academic exercise. Our fear then, and that fear remains valid, and complete this transaction
yes,
but you also note that their lordships, the appeal court judges, also made it clear that the mandate of this court,
yes,
is not interfered with, and that you, upon hearing our submissions today, will be at liberty to make a decision we believe will be in the best interest of this country.
yes,
So, my lord, my ladies, we argue that the shares, subject shares numbering over 6 million, I think the precise figure is 6,009,814,200, comprising as they do complete total of 35%. Now, the Kenya government shareholding, if this transaction was to go through, will be reduced from 35% to a paltry 20%.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Also, I cannot hear you.
You can hear me, my lord?
Yes, now
Yeah,
I
you
can
can.
hear you.
Thank you so
You're
much.
saying-
And therefore,
Yes.
the reduction from 35 to 20%, reducing therefore the Kenya government shareholding to a minority. In fact, they will lose even the number of seats in the board. And the country gets to a situation where the respondents become, or some of them at least further upon, I still remain a little bit at sea on exactly some of these relationships, and I know my lord, my ladies, will be able to demystify these shareholding relationships, but the respondents, it's billion. 6 billion, wow. My lord, my ladies, I'm corrected. It's not 6 million,
Yes.
6 billion. 6 billion shares. 6 billion shares.
Okay.
So that the respondents then become monopolistic, almost near monopolistic. And my lord, the Privatization Act number 18 of 2025.
Yes.
At Article 22, D
Yes.
and E. 22 sub Article 2, D and E. The Cabinet Secretary is supposed to take into consideration, among other issues, and we want to highlight just two: the national security interests of the country at D, and at E, the need to avoid a privatization that may result in a monopoly.
Yes.
My lord, my ladies, we argue that the shares have been grossly undervalued
Yes.
and we rely on the expert opinion of Mr. Nyakera. I believe this has not even been controverted.
Yes.
And so, secondly, my lord, my ladies, our argument is that the transaction advisors
Yes.
were irregularly procured without any competitive bidding.
Yes.
Our third point, my lord, my ladies, is that the expected sale proceeds, that using the expected sale proceeds as revenue contravenes Articles 209 to 214 of the Constitution.
Yes.
My lord, my ladies, the Cabinet Secretary failed to submit to the National Assembly a privatization program contrary to Articles or Section 22, I believe, Section 22, 2 of the Privatization Act.
Yes.
My lord, my ladies, we also argue that there was absence of public participation, a cardinal requirement in our country as it is today.
Okay.
And then fifthly, my lord, my ladies, failure to consider national security interest In the sessional paper, as I said earlier, in breach of Section 22(2)(d of the Privatization Act of 2025.
Yes.
Security, my ladies, is critical. This country is gearing itself for an election year next year. Transmission of election results normally is done through Safaricom and all. Never mind, my ladies, sometimes they have been misused to give information regarding the now notorious abductions that have been visited upon the population of this great nation. So, my Lord, the many agents, mama boggers who rely or do their transactions in the millions. We had occasion to highlight that, my lords, my ladies, in our earlier submissions.
Yes.
We stand to suffer a measure of being dispossessed of this vital national asset, which will now clearly be foreign owned. Through the Vodacom Group.
Yes, continue.
My Lord, my ladies, I now yield the floor to Council Lempa to continue with the highlights. I thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Senior Counsel. Lempa, and be precise and do not rehash what you have already written. Give us the specific details which you think that would require our attention.
Yes, thank you.
Lempa, continue on that basis.
Thank you, my Lord, my ladies. Our amended petition is dated the 22nd day of April 2026. It is supported by the affidavit of Oliver Choka, dated the 16th day of June 2026. Yes. Lord, it is also supported by the affidavit of Irongo Nyakera. Irongo Nyakera, I'll get the date. I'll get the date, my Lord. And the submissions, our detailed submissions, dated the 16th day of June 2026. My Lord, and before I proceed, I would like to bring to your attention, and under Section 60 of the Evidence Act, that this court should take judicial notice that today Safaricom share was selling opened at 34 shillings and 40 cents. 34 shillings and 40 cents. That is judicial notice. And therefore, courtesy of your conservatory orders and the status quo orders by Justice Mugambi, your brother, this country has been saved of 2.4 billion shillings today. The money that John Baditongo and Dorcas Oduor Agik Odong wanted to throw away. My Lord, without necessarily rehearsing on what my senior counsel has said, our submissions have a number of parts. we have the fact from paragraph 1 to paragraph 57, where we begin the analysis. But my lords, my ladies, we would like this court to take close attention to paragraph 2 of the written submission, where the divestiture sessional paper states that they want, or the objective of this divestiture, of this ignominious divestiture, is to raise revenue. My learned senior counsel has elaborated that the Constitution under Part 3 does not allow John Badingongo and Dorcas Agit Oduor to raise revenue using Part 3 of the Constitution. That is in paragraph 4. My lords, my ladies, would also like you to pay close attention to paragraph 5, where the sessional paper in paragraph 1.72 describes the would-be purchaser, the said shares of Vodacom Group, the seventh respondent, a foreign entity wholly owned and controlled by unknown shadowy persons. Watu ambao hawajulikani, shadowy persons. While
are you referring to submissions?
Yes. Submissions. Yes. Paragraph.
Do you mind repeating what the Constitution does not permit?
The Constitution does not permit the state to raise revenue using Part 3 of the Constitution. It is well elaborated. It will come clear as we go to specific details to that. But we are saying that on paragraph 5, the first respondent sessional paper, which is paragraph 1.72, describes the would-be purchaser of the same shares as Vodacom Group, which is the seventh respondent, as a foreign entity wholly owned and controlled by unknown shadowy person. While, on the other end, the press release dated the 3rd day of December 2025, which is annexed to the affidavit of Tony Gachoka, of the supporting affidavit dated the 22nd day of April 2026, projected the 8th respondent being the Vodafone Kenya Limited, as the would-be purchaser. They are introducing a purchaser by a press release, not in the sessional paper itself. Hello? Going down there, it is very clear that the way the respondents have treated this particular divestiture it's shrouded in mystery. Hello? My learned colleague, my learned senior, wishes to challenge expert opinion on a technical issue. The ordinary and proper course is to adduce contrary expert evidence and mere assertions by counsel or lay witnesses, like John Badingongo is a lay witness, like Dorcas Oduor Agik is a lay witness, are generally insufficient to displace a properly founded expert evidence. So that the question we pose is the evidence of Irungu Nyakera a properly founded expert evidence? Yes, it is. Is Dorcas Oduor Agik an expert witness? No, she is. She isn't. No, she isn't. Is John Badingongo an expert witness? Indeed, he is not. And therefore, we urge this court and we submit humbly that you treat the entire expert witness by Mr. Irongo Nyakera, who is a financial engineer, as uncontroverted. And the uncontroverted evidence, my lords, my ladies, is nothing but evidence of how the state has undervalued the shares of Safaricom company, the shares that they hold in trust for the people of the Republic of Kenya. Safaricom is not your ordinary telecommunication company. It's a strategic sovereign property whose divestiture cannot be done at the speed that John Badingongo and Dorcas Oduor wants this court to adopt. But in our part B, we have raised the following questions for determination: whether the government can use Part 3 of the Constitution of Kenya and Section 74 of the Privatization Act to raise revenue as per the objective of sessional paper number 3 of 2025. That is well elaborated, and I don't wish to meditate on what has been written. It is well explained from paragraph 31 all the way to paragraph 57, with well cited cases from both the local jurisdiction and international jurisprudence. My lord, I think we have quoted the case of South Africa to support how this government or this particular regime is not allowed to create its own way of raising revenue outside of the Constitution, Part 2, Article 209 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, which some of the proponent of this particular divestiture opposed vehemently, the Constitution of Kenya 2010. As to whether the proposed sale of government shares in the 6th respondent violates Article 1 because of the sovereignty of the Kenyan people, Article 10, people participation, and in people participation, my lord, paragraph 76 is very clear, and it is even very sad that John Badingongo did not conduct public participation in his Suba county, in his Migori county where Suba constituency is. He did not. While we, my lords, my ladies, is nothing but evidence of how the state has undervalued the shares of Safaricom company, the shares that they hold in trust for the people of the Republic of Kenya. Safaricom is not your ordinary telecommunication company. It's a strategic sovereign property whose divestiture cannot be done at the speed that John Badingongo and Dorcas Oduor wants this court to adopt. But in our part B, we have raised the following questions for determination: whether the government can can use Part 3 of the Constitution of Kenya and Section 74 of the Privatization Act to raise revenue as per the objective of sessional paper number 3 of 2025. That is well elaborated, and I don't wish to meditate on what has been written. It is well explained from paragraph 31st all the way to paragraph 57, with well cited cases from both the local jurisdiction and international jurisprudence. My Lord, I think we have quoted the case of South Africa to support how this government or this particular regime is not allowed to create its own way of raising revenue outside of the Constitution, Part 2, Article 209 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, which some of the proponents of this particular divestiture opposed vehemently. The Constitution of Kenya 2010. As to whether the proposed sale of government shares in the 6 respondent violates Article 1 because of the sovereignty of the Kenyan people, Article 10, people participation, and in people participation, my Lord, paragraph 76 is very clear. And it is even very sad that John Badingongo did not conduct public participation in his Suba county, in his Migori county where Suba constituency is. He did not. While we could actually forgive him for not conducting it where I come from, in Nairobi, because it is there, and Lamu. But of course, we know these are traditionally marginalized counties. But John Badingongo did not even conduct people participation in his own county. I don't know where Dur comes from. Maybe my good Richard Marwa can tell me, but I suspect he did not also conduct. She did not also conduct public participation. My Lord, my ladies, we are highlighting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 counties. 17 counties, no people participation was conducted there. And there is no village in this country where there is no M-Pesa shop. And we are being told, they are glowingly talking about how effectively we conducted people participation. It's a lie. And it is a lie by John Badingongo to Parliament and to this court.
Yes, continue.
My Lord, from paragraph 104 is to whether the impugned transaction complied with the mandatory requirement of the Privatization Act 2003 and Public 2005 to 2025 and the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015 and the applicable Capital Markets Authority. We have quoted cases and we have given facts as defined by our petitioner and expert witnesses that this indeed was done wrongly. Lord, we proceed. We have quoted cases, we need not rehearse them, they are in black and white.
Yes, let me continue.
My Lord, insofar as the divestiture of 15% of the Safaricom company is concerned, we are saying that the government does not, just as they were advised by the Law Society of Kenya and they ignored that particular advice, that they are not allowed to sell companies that are profitable. The only window that are given to them is for them to sell unserviceable, obsolete, obsolescent, and surplus assets, of which Safaricom PLC is not part of. Lord, in our paragraph 144, whether the transaction unlawfully undervalued the strategic national asset in valuation of constitutional principle governing prudent public management and protection of public resources. We have exhaustively explained that, and we have exhaustively indeed demonstrated how Article 10, Article 201 have been violated. Lord, I wish, I hope, I wish to refer this court to paragraph 149 on what the expert witness said about an evaluation. In 149, he says, the transaction of Kenya price 34 per share is materially below the fair value of Safaricom PLC as at December 2025. My weighted central fair value estimate at Kenya shillings 57.90 per share, with the range of Kenya shillings 47 to Kenya shillings 77. The discount of Kenya shillings 23 or 43% represent foregone proceeds to the public of Kenya approximately Kenya shillings 143 billion shillings. That is what the Kenyan people whose shares are held in trust by the state is losing. Going to our paragraph 148, whether the intended transfer of effective majority control over the six respondents threatens Kenyan sovereign national security competition framework. My learned colleague, Senior Counsel Kalonzo, has explained that, but if you want to get the finer details, you get it from paragraphs 148 all the way. My Lord, my ladies, you will be persuaded that the shares that we are talking about are floated in the Nairobi Security Exchange, and any one person can buy. My Lord, we continue arguing that a secondary IPO would have sufficed. And our argument to this fact is that a secondary IPO would be even cheaper than the market price. And the Kenyan people, including the generation Zoomers or Gen Zs, who are not mature, by the time Irongo Nyakera, our expert witness, opened Safaricom IPO in 2007, were not mature. It is the desire of the Gen Z to have a bite at the cherry. Hata wao wapate nafasi ya kumiliki kampuni hii ya Kenya ambayo inamesewa mata na serikali ya Rais Ruto. The Lord disregard any persuasion that these shares, even if they are floated, will be bought by foreigners. At least they have disclosed that indeed we intend to sell this company to foreigners. And in those few remarks, I invite my good friend and colleague, Mr. Zaki, to summarize.
Yes, my ladies and lordships, I associate myself Mr. Zaku.
Zaku?
Yes, my lord. I associate myself with submissions by my senior colleagues. And what I'm saying is that, my lord, we are selling this company to a foreign entity. That is what it is desired. And to sell such a company to a foreign entity, it is a company which holds very sensitive data of the petitioner and 50 plus other Kenyans, or 50 million, who hold a Safaricom line. My lord, that information for every registered SIM card holder is protected under Article 31 of the Constitution, that such information which is tied to the shares in Safaricom cannot just be transferred to a foreign entity. This court, differently constituted, and as recently as on 19th March 2026, in the case of Erastus Bura of Thiambo versus the state, petition number E290 of 2024.
Sorry, are you introducing some new authorities that have not previously been cited?
I am guiding the course.
Lord, we're here to highlight submissions which rely on authorities to which we have had prior notice. He cannot just decide that he will introduce his own authorities at this stage.
Yeah, my learned colleague Mr. Zaku is an officer of this court, and he cannot be gagged. He cannot be gagged from introducing an authority.
Yes, my lord.
Zaku.
Yes, my lord.
Zaku, did you find that authority?
That's, my lord, is a recent authority. We've not filed it, but it's a key authority in this matter. That the court cannot ignore it. This is a court of law, and it's guided by the law.
We have noted it, but don't submit on it because the other council will not have an opportunity to reply to what you are saying.
Very well.
Continue on the other aspects.
My lord, we have said that digital data held by Safaricom, it's an information that cannot be transferred to a foreign entity, and as such, that would be my submission as regards that issue of data protection.
My lord,
is that all, Zaku? You are completed?
Yes. Yes, and to cap it, my lord, my ladies.
Yes? That's Senior Counsel?
Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord.
Okay. Then in 3 minutes?
Yeah, to cap it, my lord, my ladies, we want to make it very clear, perhaps not even a matter for this court to note, but this matter is of great national interest. And 1 year to an election, my lord, my ladies, and taking into account what I earlier noted, the granting of the application by the respondents, setting aside the conservatory orders issued by this court, and being apprehensive of the necessary actions, next actions, my lord, my ladies, you should not take it against us when we issue statements and caveat emptor. Let the buyer be aware. All of this because national interest must be protected. We managed to stop the sale of the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport until President Ruto himself had to come out and say, stop it. I want to invite him to consider the same statement in view of the great interest this matter has evoked. Because my learned friend wa Tanzania anamuita wakili msomi. Wakili msomi mwenzangu anawaita majina yao, lakini ukweli ni kwamba they serve under one authority, the President of the Republic of Kenya. I invite him to exercise prudence and high consideration of national interests. His predecessor, Uhuru Kenyatta, could not have dared touch Safaricom. We rest our case, my lord, my ladies.
All right. Thank you very much. There was another petitioner.
Yes, my lord.
Yes, Kerala, do you wish to make your submission and do not repeat what has already been stated, eh?
Yeah. Give me like 2 minutes, my lord. I read it.
2 minutes?
Yeah. I want land raise court for previous orders. Na niko hapa kuunga mkono hii petition ya E051 na niko na huzuni my lord, kwa sababu wakati tulienda serikali ilienda wa Court of Appeal, sikusabiwa na the relevant documents na nika complain, but they proceed to the matter in the Court of Appeal. Nimekuja hapa leo kwa kulia nikisema na nikiomba koti leo mchana ya leo, Safaricom is our heritage in this country, our brand that ikiuzwa iende kwa nchi ya kigeni hatutaweza kuipata tena. So kwa leo naweza omba koti kama iseme niko hapa kama Mkenya na nimekuja nikiwa binafsi, nikiomba koti isikie ile kilio ya Wakenya wengine milioni 50 wenye hawana uwezo wa kufika mahali hapa. Sina mengi kwa leo, but naweza omba koti isikize hiyo ombi. Asante.
Alright, asante Saidi. So is Ogola here now? Professor Ogola, are you here now? Professor Ogola is not here. So I think now we'll now go to the respondents.
I'm told Professor is on hold, is waiting to be admitted to the lobby.
There's nobody in the lobby. I'm the one who is admitting people, and I've admitted everybody. I've admitted everybody. I'm the one admitting the people. And I keep on admitting while we proceed. So in which lobby? Because it's not in my lobby. So I think we assume that he is absent. After all, we were made very extensive and profound submissions on the entire case. So we proceed now with the respondents. John Ohalka, and also be brief, because we are going to read the submissions which have been filed and which we find to be quite detailed and comprehensive. John?
Thank you very much, my lord, your leadership. I see that Alonso Sioka Senior Counsel has departed. We have listened very carefully to the case of the petitioners.
Yes.
We have given consideration to the submissions as well as to the matters put forward in the amended petition and the supporting affidavits. My lord, the respondent's case is simple and straightforward.
Yes.
In our respectful submission, the petitioners have built their case on the wrong legal foundation. They ask this court to treat this matter as a privatization program falling under the Privatization Act, and simultaneously ask that you treat it as a public procurement matter falling under the Public Procurement and Assets Disposal Act.
Yes.
My lords, both of those acts, at section 4 of each of those acts, exclude the sale of shares from the ambit of those acts. And we have set out the precise provisions in our written submissions. It is difficult to understand why the petitioners choose to ignore the statutory route created by Parliament for the sale of shares in a government-linked corporation. The first duty of this court, therefore, my lord, your ladyships, is to identify the correct statutory route for the sale of these shares. Being perpetrated by the respondents by insisting that the matter falls within a legislative architecture which Parliament itself has deliberately excluded.
Yes, continue.
The next issue we want to deal with, my lord, relates to Treasury's role in revenue raising and Treasury's authority to raise revenue or to mobilize non-tax revenue. The submission has been made that Articles 207 to 214 under Part 3 of the Constitution do not provide for the sale of shares as part of the ways in which government can raise revenue. My lords, that is a superficially attractive argument, but it is again a misconceived argument. Article 209 to 214 regulate taxation, charges, borrowing, guarantees, and public debt. But they do not say that government may never raise revenue from an investment. Indeed, my lords, all the court has to do is to go one article down, Article 2 or 6, which relates or recognizes that money raised or received by or on behalf of the national government may or should ordinarily be deposited in the consolidated fund unless a statute prescribes otherwise. Why would Article 206 provide or recognize money raised or received by or on behalf of the national government unless the Constitution itself allowed the government to raise revenue other than through taxation?
Let's continue, John.
Article 206, my Lord, is then given life or architecture by the Public Finance Management Act. Sections 11 and 12 of that Act then give the Treasury the mandate to formulate macroeconomic policy, to manage public debt, to mobilize resources, and to manage public finances. If the petitioner's construction of the Constitution, limited to Articles 207 to 214, was to be accepted, then it would render Section 87A of the Public Finance Management Act completely meaningless and would significantly erode Article 206, which itself recognizes that government may raise revenue. As my Lord, your Ladyships will appreciate, the Constitution requires us to give a purposive interpretation to its provisions, not an interpretation that would result in the negation of various pieces of legislation which have been enacted to give effect to the Constitution.
Yes.
The third issue we want to deal with relates to the attack on the cabinet approval, the parliamentary approval, and public participation. Well,
yes.
The transaction has been alleged to have been conducted secretly, in an opaque manner, and without the requisite adherence to the provisions specifically of Article 10 of the Constitution.
Yes.
Well, we have demonstrated in the 3 affidavits sworn by the Cabinet Secretary
yes.
that a sessional paper and accompanying explanatory material went to the National Assembly subsequent to the Cabinet approval. The Joint Committee of the National Assembly considered the sessional paper, undertook extensive public participation, and the National Assembly approved it by resolution. We have set out, my Lord, 78 stakeholder institutions were engaged. Public participation forums were held across more than 30 counties. 32 sittings considered the valuation, the identity of the purchaser, questions relating to employment, governance, competition, consumer protection, data sovereignty, and national security. It is not the law every objector who presents his views must have those views embraced unconditionally. The test, and I need not remind your lordship, your ladyship, the test is one of reasonableness. We have given you the Supreme Court's decision on British American tobacco for the proposition that public participation must be real, not illusory, and must provide reasonable notice and reasonable opportunity. In our respectful submission, that threshold has been met.
Okay.
There have been allegations of fraud against Parliament. No particulars have been supplied. And those allegations have not been proven. It is not sufficient to place rhetoric before the court and make allegations of such a serious nature as fraud. Fraud, as we know, must be pleaded with particulars and must be proved.
Judge, you should be winding up, eh?
I am making progress towards winding up a lot.
Yes.
Let me next deal with the question of pricing and valuation. Because clearly, this is at the center of the petitioner's case. But it is also where the case is most ambitious, but least proven in our respectful view. What the petitioners ask this court to do is to sit as a valuation tribunal. This court is not a valuation tribunal, neither is it a valuation committee. The court's role is to assess the legality of the transaction based on the material placed before it. Mr. Lempar, to his credit, has looked at the share price this morning. He bought? Yes. Oh, he's even bought the shares this morning. Congratulations.
Yes.
And referred you to Section 60 of the Evidence Act. I need not remind the court that the material time is December of 2025, when the transaction was contemplated and sought to be entered into by the government. Share pricing is dynamic. It is affected by numerous factors. And if the petitioners had not interfered with this transaction through the launching of this petition, to which they're perfectly entitled, this purchase price would have come in 6 months ago.
Yes.
So it is not sufficient to cite today's price and allege on that basis that there is an undervaluation. Neither is it sufficient to ask that one expert's opinion be preferred over the valuation commissioned and relied upon by the government. The court's role is to determine the legality of the sale, taking into consideration constitutional and legislative provisions, and to determine whether the price in the circumstances agreed by the government is so abnormally low as to point to perversity by government. In our respectful submission, the evidence placed before you by the Cabinet Secretary is to the effect that professional transaction advisors who are engaged, they considered all the factors, they had consideration to the numerous valuation methodologies, and they advised the government on what they considered to be a reasonable price with a premium based on the identity of the share, the proposed purchaser. In our submission, that price does not disclose any illegality. We have placed before the court comparative jurisprudence, specifically the decision of the Supreme Court of India in Balco Employees Union versus Union of India for the proposition that the court does not determine whether the valuation committee's price was correct, but examines whether proper procedure was followed and whether the price was arbitrarily low and unacceptable. The petitioner's expert opinion is not proof of unconstitutionality. It is at most, Your Ladyships, my Lord, a different professional opinion. Beyond offering his opinion on what the price ought to have been, Mr. Jakera has proceeded on the assumption or on the theory, that the price would be higher if M-Pesa was to be carved out. But M-Pesa is part of Safaricom. It is a unified company. It is not being sold separately.
Yes.
And the suggestion, therefore, that a higher price would have been obtained is based on a faulty theory that we submit this court should reject. In the end, my Lord, Your Ladyship, the petitioners have not proved an undervaluation. They have just proved that they would prefer a different model. That is not sufficient to override the Cabinet approval and the National Assembly's approval, both of which are integral to Section 87A of the Public Finance Management Act. Lastly, let me deal with the issues relating to data sovereignty, national security, Articles 35 and 65, and the question of competition.
Yes.
All of these arguments, my lord, proceed on the mistaken basis that sovereignty, data protection, national security are preserved by shareholding. Look, the sale of these shares does not suddenly dissolve Kenyan municipal law. Sovereignty is exercised through law. Safaricom will continue to be subject